Terrorism is also as real online as it is offline, and it affects all of us, regardless of whether we use the internet, McAfee Associates warned its customers in a February 2002 newsletter. We are, in essence, vulnerable to attack online. 2001 saw some dangerous, effective viruses such as Code Red, Surcam, Badtrans, CAC, and Goner. But NIMDA was the worst of all. Discovered on September 18th, a week after the events of September 11th, NIMDA had no apparent political motive, but it couldn't have been more opportunistic. Perhaps we are lucky that NIMDA came a week after the 11th, when people were sensitive to potential threats. As terrible as NIMDA was, it was a single act and not associated with the real-world terrorist acts. But NIMDA raised our awareness. Is the internet being used to coordinate terrorist activities? Is it only a matter of time before terrorists coordinate internet threats with real-world threats? Such heady thinking from a company that failed to protect its paying customers from NIMDA's initial onslaught. Longtime V-Myths readers know there exists no evidence of online terrorism. None. Even White House fearmonger Richard Clarke admitted this simple truth in February, the same month McAfee declared it real in their newsletter. McAfee struggled to find an example of online terrorism, so they used computer viruses as an obvious choice. Page 2. Remember, back in February, companies like McAfee still compared the non-existent to the apparent as a marketing tool. In this case, they compared the NIMDA virus to the World Trade Center attack. These idiotic comparisons didn't resonate too well in New York City, and most computer security firms eventually dropped this notion of comparison. McAfee's notion to compare NIMDA to the World Trade Center seems pretty stupid in hindsight, doesn't it? The president put a $25 million bounty on the head of Osama bin Laden, dead or alive, for causing only $95 billion in damages to New York City firms. Yet, the president's computer security advisor didn't put a bounty on the head of NIMDA's author for causing over $2 billion in damages to U.S. firms. Does anyone remember way back when scientists compared the speed of the Voyager 1 probe to the speed of light? Bear with me, it leads to computer virus hysteria. The probe right now is traveling at an astronomical 0.005% of c. In a few years, it'll be traveling at 0.006% of light speed. Woo! Scientists eventually realized their stupidity. Now they say it travels 39,000 miles per hour. Duh. Now, don't get me wrong. You can make an absurd comparison. You'll just sound absurd, that's all. Compare Voyager 1 to the speed of light? Compare NIMDA to the World Trade Center? Preposterous. I should note McAfee Associates didn't mean to offend anyone when they compared a computer virus to the loss of 3,000 people who lived and worked in New York City. McAfee's PR crew simply didn't think about it before they said it. Not that they could think. If the fools had a brain, they wouldn't be in PR. Page 3. Okay, now let's flash forward to the present. A second attack on the Internet's core routers took place, this time against the nascent .info top-level infrastructure run by a firm called Ultra DNS. Ben Petro, the firm's CEO, compared it to an act of terrorism. Specifically, he labeled it a near-terrorist event. Near-terrorist. Can you try to use his term in a real-world example? Go on, I'll wait. Oh, no. Keep going. Keep trying. I'll wait. Okay. Stop trying. I'll give you a B+ just for taking a stab at it. Oh, but Rob, you moan, how can we use it in a real-world example? Petro made an absurd comparison. Congratulations. You get an A. Ironically, this act of near-terrorism caused no performance degradation to the Internet. None. Petro himself bragged his firm met its 100% service guarantee while the near-terrorists deluged his server with up to 2 million packets per second. Page 4. Say what? A paltry up to 2 million packets per second? Bah! Petro's near-terrorist attack barely rivaled what took place when customers flooded Symantec and Network Associates at the height of Melissa and I Love You virus hysteria. Of course, large antivirus firms don't get attacked by near-terrorists. They just get attacked by their own users. Oh, big difference. ZDNN cybercrime reporter Rob Lemos quoted a petrified Petro as saying, "The reality is that the attacks keep getting bigger, stronger, faster." Bigger, stronger, faster? I'll bet a soda Petro watches reruns of the $6 Million Man. He then offered a touching soliloquy on computer security. Like terrorism, you don't know when they are going to strike and how they are going to strike. Until we are able to dedicate attention to these attacks, until we can follow these attacks to their end, we are all vulnerable. Vulnerable to near-terrorism, Petro meant. Such heady thinking from a CEO who wails because his company fared better against the attackers than antivirus firms fare against their own customers. Page 5. Petro's touching soliloquy reminded me of Peter Graves' immortal dialogue in the 1956 Grade Z flick, It Conquered the World.
He learned almost too late that man is a feeling creature.
Hey, you know what? We could put Petro Graves in the lead role of the remake. Call it Internet Conquered the World. Instead of a giant pickle trying to take over Earth with human zombies, we'd update the plot with a giant hacker trying to take over .info with computer zombies. Yeah, Petro would deadpan an updated soliloquy at the movie's close. Hackers learned almost too late that .info is a feeling creature, and because of it, the greatest TLD in the universe. Hackers learned too late for themselves that users have to find their own way, make their own mistakes. There can't be any gift of perfection from outside the internet. And when users seek such perfection, they find only death, Microsoft, loss, disillusionment, the end of every RFC that's gone forward. Users have always sought an end to the TCP and latency. It can't be given, it has to be achieved. There is hope, but it has to come from inside, from users themselves. Woof! Can we get Roger Corman to direct the remake? Woo! I'm Rob Rosenberger. Oh, these two. 4V Myths. That's VMYTHS.com. Truth about computer virus hysteria. Be there or be scared.
He learned almost too late that man is a feeling creature.